Hard to believe, but this is a fully complete meat soup. This block is already 8 months old, and it will be just as good 2 years from now. And it takes just a couple of minutes to prepare, simply by adding boiling water. The world is unstable. World War III and global food supply disruptions are much closer than we think. Today I'll show you step by step how to turn a cheap cut of meat into dozens of portions of soup that store for up to 2 years. Make sure you watch until the end. That's where I'll reveal the main assembly secret, without which the soup will simply fall apart when frozen. Let's get started. I'm taking 1.5 pounds of beef shank, also known as osso buco. Why this cut? It's a cut from the lower part of the leg that has always been cheap and was considered the poor man's steak. But what matters most to us is something else. This meat contains an enormous amount of collagen. Under heat, it transforms into natural gelatin, making our dish incredibly juicy and filling. Expensive tenderloin has no place in survival cooking, and we need tendons and bone. Heat, maximum. I sear exactly 2 minutes on each side to seal in the flavor and get a dark crust. Without it, the broth will be pale. Then I lower the temperature and hold it for another 7 minutes on each side. Write in the comments right now, do you actually stockpile food in case of a crisis or war? I'm curious to find out how many truly prepared people are on this channel. The meat is seared. I take it off and wrap it tightly in foil for exactly 7 minutes. This is a critical step. Inside, the fibers are now contracted. All the juice is under enormous pressure. If you cut it right away, all that delicious juice will pour out onto the board. While the meat rests, I take the potatoes. I cut them into perfect cubes of about 1/2 inch, and I put them to cook on the lowest possible heat. Remember, the simmer must be minimal. If the potatoes cook fast and start falling apart after freezing, they will turn into disgusting mush. We need firm, defined cubes. I finally dice the onion, nice and small. The smaller the pieces, the faster they absorb all the flavor from the pan. And now the pan from the meat goes straight back on the heat. We are not washing it. We are not wiping it. Now I take the carrot, same treatment, small even cubes, and it goes right in next to the onion. From this point, we just let them work. Medium heat, no rushing. We fry everything together until we get a deep golden brown color on both the onion and the carrot. The foil comes off. Feel the difference. 7 minutes ago, this was screaming hot from the pan. Now it's relaxed. The juices have settled back in. Look at that interior. Dark crust on the outside, perfectly moist all the way through. I start cutting it down into small, even cubes, just like the potatoes. And now I get to the bone. That soft, dark filling sitting right in the center. That is the marrow. Out it comes, every last bit of it, straight into the bowl with the meat. That marrow is what separates this soup from anything thin or watery. It dissolves into the broth and gives the whole thing a richness and density that you just cannot fake with lean meat alone. Do not even think about throwing away the bone. Put it in the freezer. From bones like these, you can later make an incredible survivalist broth, a collagen concentrate for your joints. Hit the like button right now, and if we reach 1,000 likes, I will film the recipe from these bones. Next, I take a cube of my homemade frozen beef broth. I showed how to make it in the last video. If you haven't watched it, the link will be in the description. I dissolve it in hot water. Our base is ready. And now the assembly secret itself. I take 3 glasses. They absolutely must have perfectly straight inner walls, otherwise you won't be able to get the soup out. We start building the layers. On the very bottom we place the beef pieces. Then a tight layer of our vegetables fried in beef fat. And only on the very top we place the cooked potatoes. Why? Because if you put the potatoes on the bottom, they will get crushed under the weight of the meat and turn into mush. We fill the glasses with our dissolved hot broth all the way to the rim. We cover each glass with foil and put them in the freezer for a couple of hours. Time has passed. The soup is completely frozen and has turned into a solid block of ice. How do you get it out? Simple. We flip the glasses upside down and leave them on the table. At room temperature of around, within a couple of minutes, they will slide out on their own. Look at this block, a perfect portion. Now we need to wrap each soup cylinder as tightly as possible in foil to eliminate any contact with air. Stored this way, they can sit in your freezer for up to 2 years. Do you understand the advantage of this technology? You spend a couple of hours cooking once, and you get 5-10 portions of complete soup. When the time comes when you have no strength or when it's dangerous to build a fire for a long cook, you already have everything you need. I'm always curious how far these old recipes travel. Write in the comments where you're watching from. Show your country's flag. And now I'll show how this works in practice. I take one of our ready frozen soups. I remove the foil, place it in a deep bowl. I pour in boiling water and wait just a couple of minutes. Look at that. A real hot, thick soup. The meat pieces held their texture. The potatoes are intact. The vegetables gave their color to the broth. This is not chemical powder from a packet. This is a piece of beef, vegetables, and rich broth, ready in minutes without any cooking. World War III may start tomorrow, or it may start in a year, but you need to be ready today. Make this stockpile. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next survival recipes. Stay prepared for anything. See you next time.